Hello, and welcome to the Bowling University studio from the International Bowling Campus in Arlington, Texas. Welcome to the Profit Break. If you're joining us for the first time, we're glad you're here. Give us 15 minutes and you'll be well on your way to improving yourself and your profitability. We all know that enhancing, modernizing, and expanding your center to elevate that entertainment experience is a major undertaking, not just financially, but it's fraught with all types of risks. What better way to learn but from a fellow proprietor that has taken this traditional center on that journey and come out of the transition successfully? On today's episode, our guest is John Losito, owner of Sun Valley Lanes and Games, a 55,000 square foot family entertainment center in Lincoln, Nebraska. John's roots are in bowling. He's been bowling since the age of 4 and is a current member of the Professional Bowlers Association. John has way too many accolades to mention throughout his years, but he has been nominated and awarded the BPAA Proprietor of the Year in 2017. So, John, thanks for taking time out of your busy schedule and joining us today and sharing your journey with us.
My pleasure, John. Thank you for having me.
So, start us off. Tell us a little bit about your center and where it's at and the community and what it's all about and why you decided to make this jump.
Well, Sun Valley Lanes is was a 32-lane traditional bowling center built in 1977 here in beautiful Lincoln, Nebraska. It's where I worked at in college in the late 80s. And over the years, obviously I moved up in the chain here and became a partner in 1998 and bought my partners out in 2011 and made the leap to an FEC starting in late 2019. But it was pretty much your standard bowling center, right? I mean, what you kind of knew in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and I decided to make the leap to the FEC. So,
what made you decide to do that? What prompted you to do it?
Well, I could see the handwriting on the wall, right? I mean, I've been bowling my entire life, and of course, the late 70s, early 80s were the boon of league bowling, and slowly over those years, traditional league play went down, but open play went up. And being involved in the industry as much as I was, I'm talking to people and visiting different places, you could see where the direction of stuff was going. Mm-hmm. Bowling is still a great activity. Absolutely. It's a great thing for literally about every age to be able to do. So it makes a great, what I call anchor attraction. It's kind of like the core. But people want to be able to do some different things. It's not necessarily one size fits all, but if you have some multiple options for people to do, they kind of feed off of each other and then it grows exponentially. And I just could see where stuff was going. I'd kind of flattened out there in the teens a bit, income wise. And I thought I need to make the leap to, try to drive some more revenue. And it just spoke to a bunch of industry friends and thought, okay, now's the time.
So off you go.
Let's do it.
Okay. Well, let's walk through the before and the after and your thought process and what you did and why you did it. We saw a graphic of what the center looked like on the outside before the renovation. Here's the inside. So you're right. It's a traditional center, 32 lanes. Yep. You said, okay. And
yeah. Absolutely. Just your standard, basically it was what was referred to as a BRC footprint, right? Mm-hmm. Kind of designed like the Brunswick Recreation Centers of the 70s and 80s. That's what they used the blueprints from.
Okay. I knew it looked familiar for some strange reason. Okay. It's like, this place looks familiar, even though I've never been there.
Yeah.
All right. So that's what it was. Now, here's a graphic of the outside. Let me back up a little bit, too. I know with that standard footprint, the entry was right dead center, right? You come right in the center. And you enter that way, counter on your right. Okay.
Correct. And we had this small piece of property in front of, which is basically our parking right in front of the building, but it only was one row of spots. And I decided, well, I'm going to add on to the building about 6,250 square feet where the entrance is. But to do that, I had to move the entrance. So we started in the summer. It was literally the day after the PWBA stop here in 2019. We decided we started on the renovation and the expansion, but we had to move the entrance first. So the entrance moved to the corner down by lane 32 in the far would be northeast corner of the building to get people in. So once that was built, then we could get people in the building. Then we could start on the expansion for in front of the building.
Okay. Now, so you moved the entryway. You didn't remove any lanes, though, right? You kept the same amount of lanes?
Correct. And that's a little bit against the norm. And talking to some industry, some great minds, Andy B, Pacinello, some other people, people were taking lanes out, to add an arcade or laser tag or some of these other things. But I was still busy enough as a traditional 32 lane center that I didn't want to take lanes out. So I went the other way and
Okay.
decided to expand and added on the 6,250 square feet in front of me and bought the property to my immediate south. So here in this diagram, you can see how the center has kind of gotten longer in a sense, where we added on the arcade, laser tag, the bigger bar. But then the property next to me was about a 5,000 square foot building that was the taxi cab dispatch building. And of course, Uber and Lyft had caused the taxi cab business to kind of fizzle out a little. So that building owner came to me as I was starting the renovation and expansion and said, "Hey, do you want to buy my building and land?" And that's how I was able to add on the volleyball and the green space, as well as add in indoor mini golf. So it really kind of took off on steroids right when the project was starting.
Wow. Yeah, there's you can see in this diagram quite a difference, the before and the after, just the layout itself. So let's look at the reality of it now. So we move on and we get into the center. So what do you got here? We got your bar. What did you do to the bar?
So this was the original lounge, which was
Okay.
located on the low end of the building, and low ceilings, not a lot of space, just a few seats at the bar. And food and beverage was becoming bigger and bigger, and when you do some of these projects, it's surprising how much food and beverage really kind of starts to drive. So I wanted to make sure that we could expand the bar. So this was the old bar. And you'll see a photo here in a little bit of what it looks like now. But that's all the seating that we had. It's at about 30 people comfortably. It had a pool table in it. I mean, it was nice. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not a bad looking bar per se, but it just, couldn't necessarily meet the demands of what I wanted to become.
Okay.
And, when you're going to do food and beverage, you really kind of think about that it needs to be able to stand by itself. You want people to come out solely to eat or drink. I mean, that's the mentality you have to take. So, because it's important, so that's what we decided to do and try to make it more of a destination.
And you did all that. You didn't go outside and have a consultant help you with a menu or anything, because you did a good food business before. You did all this internally with your food and beverage, right?
Yes, yeah, we did. So we had some pretty decent food before. It's part of the reason why I'm so big. We just kind of modified some of the things that we did, took the things that we did good and tried to do it great. So, we don't have frozen beef here anymore. We batter our own chicken strips. We make our own ranch. Our pizza's always been very highly acclaimed. We just kind of tried to just kind of make those things a little bit better and then serve it on actual plates, with silverware. And it's surprising how much, we all kind of eat with our eyes, right? If the presentation, sells probably 80% of it. So doing that really kind of upgraded the experience for our guests, and the results have been amazingly strong when it comes to the food side of things.
Excellent. Okay. All right. That makes so much sense to think that through. If you're going to elevate the experience, food and beverage is such a big part of it. Do you find that people are coming there just to eat?
We do.
Yeah,
we have people
that's
solely come out to just eat and drink.
Good for you.
Which is nice.
That's meaningful. All right. So the next photo we have in here now, is this taking us? Is this where we come in from the entryway now, the new entry off to the corner?
Yes. So when you come in off the new entrance in the corner, the first thing that you're presented with is the entrance to the arcade. The combat zone is our laser tag facility, and then immediately to the right of that is our redemption counter and our bowling counter. So that flow kind of is the same, but one of the benefits is, and maybe if you somehow go back to the layout diagram of the slide of the facility, you'll see that basically all the things that involve the staff are pretty much in the middle of the building. And I refer to that as the hub as I was designing stuff. One of the biggest costs, the biggest cost for, these facilities is labor. Labor costs run anywhere, 20 is low, but, somewhere 20 to 30%, sometimes even higher. And so I knew if I could control labor costs and make it so we could better utilize our staff, then that would help in the success, both operationally and financially, but let alone better experience for the guests as well as our team members. So you'll see as we kind of get this layout going that all my employees, with the exception of the volleyball bar, are pretty much in what I refer to as the hub, which is kind of a centralized location, which helps, staff be able to float pretty quickly from one attraction or location based on demand, which is helpful. So anyway, but yes, this is the entrance when you come in to get an idea. And of course, stuff is themed, and arcade does really well. Laser tag is still strong, and it's themed on Call of Duty and or the military.
Okay.
So.
Well, and that's such a great point, the way that you thought that, you kind of baked that into the whole renovation and thinking of your staff. Because you're right, not just from a financial perspective, but just for ease of them not having to walk around. But, oftentimes when we have a renovation, we don't always think about that. We just plunk things down where they fit. So that was really wise of you. And what I love what you did with the arcade too, and the laser tag, when you come in, you don't have to walk through it, but you can't miss it. Right? I mean, that's what you see. So you're not forcing me to walk through the arcade if I don't want to, if I get my bowling ball, but I know that it's there. So I love that marketing part. Okay. So
and when you get out of the laser tag, I exit you into the arcade. So you debrief out of the mission, and it's the old what I refer to. I'm a roller coaster guy, right? And you get off the roller coaster, you got to go through the gift shop to see your photo of what you look like. So my thought is, you get out of the laser tag. Hey, look at all these great arcade games, and that works out well.
Brilliant. That perfect. Okay. All right. So this is your new indoor mini golf we're looking at here. Okay. Yeah,
it's referred to as Lucky Putt, and you can see there on the right side, that's our volleyball bar. We refer to the mini golf volleyball lounge or Lucky Putt lounge, which also serves. It's a garage door. It serves out into the volleyball court, and that's the only location in the building that the staff is standalone, I guess, for a lack of a better description. They kind of operate that on their own over there, but it works out just fine.
So that bar is multi-purpose. It takes care of the Lucky Putt and the outside thing. Okay. All right.
Yep. All right. So this is our expanded lounge area, and it runs the full length of the original building and the expansion. So now we have seating for about 90, somewhere in there, 80 to 90. And it's been very well received as part of our mantra. The official name of the facility went from Sun Valley Lanes to Sun Valley Lanes and Games because we have these attractions. We had enough of a name here in this community to not change the name to something different. But all of our tables have game boards embossed in them, and we have all the pieces. So people can come and play the games on any of the tables for free. We get a little bit of that as well as kind of a fun little talking point for people. Especially if they got families and they're waiting for their food or, just hanging out, waiting for people to come. So it works out well.
I love that idea. So they just get the pieces for whatever game they want to play at the bar?
Yep. Okay. You got it.
Yeah. And do you find that's keeping them there longer?
Yeah, we do find some groups that varies. It's usually a family or sometimes college kids, maybe on a date night. We'll see a little bit of that. Which is kind of, it's just fun. It's just a little bit different. Makes you, fall into the ambiance of the facility.
Is that that the boards on the tables, are they like on the table or are they under a coating? So it's part of the table?
Are under. They're under an epoxy coating. Okay. Myself and my best friend basically made all of them. So it's works out well.
You're a talented guy. That's great. Great idea too. All right. What do we got here?
Yeah, so that's the expanded bar area, and there's another complete seating area that seats about 20 off to the right that you can't see. Now, since then, this photo was taken recently. I removed the pool table because we were having some additional needs for additional seating, so we added another 2 high-top tables that seat 6. And off to the left, there's a garage door that opens up that has a screen that can come down that overlooks our yard space, which you'll see here in a little bit. And depending on the time of year, obviously, there it is. You can see that garage door in the back. Basically, that's looking into the area that we were just in. We open up that garage door sometimes based on the weather, and it just creates a nice little flow.
Nice. Very nice. Let me go back and ask a question about that. It's on that monitor. Is that something you put up, stay for the memories, or that happened just to be a...
That just happened to be there.
Wow.
And cornhole's on TV. That's kind of a funny thing, too. We got cornhole outside.
That's amazing. How serendipitous. Well, that's great, because that's what you want them to do, stay for the memory. I love it. Okay. All right. So this is, so what they're out here, we've got cornhole.
Yeah, so This is our yard space. We
Okay.
can actually set up 10 lanes of cornhole. We, have seating for about 40 out there. But when we get the cornhole leagues going, it's, there'll normally be 70, 80 people out there all, having a good time. We built drink holders into the scoreboard. So those little things that look like letter
Okay.
T's, they're actually drink holder combo scoreboards for people to be able to keep score on. And we want to run a waitress out there with a wireless point of sale terminal and take food and drink orders, try to make it convenient. A couple fire pits there on the patio, and we have radiant heat also, so we run that during the winter as well. So.
Okay. So I imagine it gets cold in Nebraska. So you've got in the wintertime, you've got your league bowling and such, and then in the summer, out they come and play outside, that's great. Level off that business.
This was actually the original driving force behind part of my renovation. I would do about a third of the business, literally about 34% of the business in May, June, July, and August that I would in December, January, February, March. So I was looking for something that would have more consistent revenue. And the arcade, the laser tag, I knew too would be decent all year. But when the opportunity came up to build the volleyball, and I got 3 courts in, which is nice, that really helped immensely. They play 27 weeks out of the year. It's similar to bowling. It's 3 9-week sessions. So we have a little bit of overlap. We'll have some overlap in April and then a bunch in August and September where the place will be going full bore, between the volleyball leagues, the bowling leagues, the cornhole leagues. It's a pretty busy place, but I'm in a college town. So, I get a lot of young, 25, 30-year-old people playing, and they like to eat and drink, which is really the driving success behind volleyball.
Wow, it's beautiful too. It did a nice job with it.
Thank you.
Got some outside seating there for it. Very nice.
Yep.
Very nice. There's the fire pit that you mentioned, so that must be popular in the evening there.
Oh yeah, absolutely, and that's pretty much all time of the year. So league people will go out and smoke during league, but during the dead of winter when it's 10 degrees outside here in Nebraska. Yeah. We have a curtain that actually will cover up, the south wind, but it's protected then on 3 sides. So it's actually a pretty nice space even in the dead of winter.
Okay. Nice to get outside in the wintertime. I remember those days in that part of the world, get outside. Very nice, absolutely. Beautiful. And then I guess here's a great shot of the outside. Everybody can remember what it looked like before, but my gosh, that's just gorgeous.
Thank you very much, John. Yep, that's the new and improved Sun Valley Lanes and Games.
Wow, amazing. Well, look, we have time for one more question. So let me ask you this. It's been years in the making. You did a lot of thought, put a lot of thought behind it, and a lot of great renovations. Are you happy with the results? Been worth it?
Yeah, definitely. It blew my projections out of the water. I mean, I made a conservative budget, but we're doing very, very well here. So anybody that's thinking about making the leap, I would suggest it. Bowling's still a great activity. Anything that you can do that complements that activity, though, gets people to hang around longer. If they're hanging around, they're eating and they're drinking and spending more money in your place. So I would suggest doing it if you can.
Yeah, I think you nailed it perfectly. Bowling is an anchor. We're just adding some elements to it. So great. Well, John, thank you so much for taking us on a tour. Hopefully those that are considering doing this will ease the pain a little bit, saying it can be done. But no, it came out beautiful. Best of luck to you and to your staff.
Thank you, John. My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
So, hey, if you want to learn more about what John Losito shared today, feel free to reach out to us directly here at BPAA at education@bpaa.com. If you're ready to start improving your profitability, you can reach us anytime at education@bpaa.com. As we wrap up another edition of the Profit Break, remember that when your focus is on growing people, people will grow your business. This episode, as well as all our previous Profit Break episodes, are available 24/7 for you and your team at bowlinguniversity.net. Plus, new episodes are available every month, so mark your calendar, watch your email, and join us on Facebook to hear about the latest episodes. Until then, I'm John Karabatsis, and do for one what you wish you could do for everyone. We'll see you next time.